Good morning. My name is Meagan Harkins, and I'm a senior scholar from Oviedo, Florida. First, I'd like to thank y'all for the opportunity to share this morning. The Ole Miss Women's Council has been the absolute best part of my college experience. From the friendships to mentors to memories to providing employment, when I look back at my time at Ole Miss, I'm overwhelmed at how much the OMWC shines through in every aspect of it. When Alexis asked me to share with y'all my favorite philanthropy, I knew exactly what I wanted to talk about. The non-denominational Christian summer camp I worked at every summer of college, Camp Chioka. We spent about 10 weeks of the summer living in the woods of Calhoun, Louisiana, just outside of West Monroe. We get new campers every week, ranging from elementary, middle, and high school sessions. We sleep in red bunks and wood cabins without air conditioning. Our days consist of sharing meals, sweating, playing games, swimming, planning skits, and mainly just talking and building relationships. I also lead electives each summer for high school and middle school sessions. In the past, I've taught spiritual disciplines where we teach about prayer, fasting, scripture, and meditation to equip our campers to be Christ followers when they go home. I also co-led coffee and conversation, teaching teenagers how to actively listen to one another, listening to understand rather than to respond. Me and I have taught line dancing, showing teens the freedom to be found in having childlike fun. One of my favorite parts of camp is that every Wednesday of camp is prayer night. During prayer night, each camper has the opportunity to share with their cabin and their counselors what they are currently walking through, and we get to pray over each of them. I love it because it's not just testimony night or reliving old hurts. It's about saying the reality of the present moment. It reminds me of a Bob Goff quote that reads, "Keep it real about where you are right now while living in constant anticipation about who God is helping you become." We have prayed over friendship wounds, identity struggles, and unfortunately too many cases of physical and emotional abuse. But I learned so much every week from my campers' willingness to acknowledge where they are rather than pretending they're at a place they're not as we work towards who they're hoping to become. When Alexis asked me to share about my favorite philanthropy, I questioned whether or not something as ordinary as a summer camp counted. Naturally, I turned to Google to research what philanthropy means. The definition read, the desire to promote the welfare of others. Thinking about it, I realized that every single thing we do at camp promotes the welfare of others. Whether it's eating meals among our campers, making friendship bracelets with them, or playing volleyball, everything encourages their well-being by leading them into virtuous friendship. These relationships create a space of freedom and safety, to then help them in the best way possible by sharing the truth of Scripture, that which I have found to be nourishing and life-giving. My boss's motto is that camp is the real world. This means that camp is as God once intended in the garden on the day of creation. A place to play, a place where we're free to ask questions and create and simply focus on relationships. Without distractions, we are able to identify these things most important, to then leave camp and share the real world with our broken world. Camp encourages us to love bolder and converse deeper, being honest about where we are while applying truth to all things. Yet my favorite part of camp isn't even during summer. It's that my campers feel comfortable calling and texting me year-round. Sometimes we just catch up on life, but sometimes they share the heavy and scary things they're walking through. Most of the time, I feel helpless at the situations they present, but I have found the most important thing is to just be available to them. This is a lesson I have learned from some of my greatest mentors, and especially my dad, who is the most there person I know. Being there for them has been more challenging than I once thought, as my capacity to receive was small due to a list of 20 unnecessary involvements. My campers have taught me to say no to good things, so I have a big yes to say to that which is best, loving the Lord by loving His people. Alexis was kind enough to give me a week off of work in June to visit camp this summer. I was in absolute awe of the transformation happening in campers' lives, the joy evident in every activity, and the passion of those on staff. But for the first time there, I found myself deeply troubled every day by the question of what more can we do? So much good was happening, but I knew there was still potential for us to love and serve more wholeheartedly, and with abandonment. This is a mentality I have learned from the Ole Miss Women's Council. Never once have I heard a council member say, "We already do all of this for you, just be grateful." All I have heard for the past 3 years is, "What else do you need? What more can I do?" The OMWC has changed me in more ways than I'll ever know. Y'all have shaped me into a confident leader and friend, mentoring middle and high school girls on a daily basis as we walk towards lives of deep love and purpose. Last summer at camp was particularly hard because I felt guilty for being there during a time of racial unrest, a pandemic, and historic election. All the world seemed to be overcome with sorrow while I was still at camp, dancing and having good conversations and creating incredible memories. My boss read to us a quote from Elementary Season 2, Episode 5. Joan Watson asked, "Are we cutting ourselves off from the world?" Sherlock Holmes responded, "We are not cut off from the world. We are simply creating a world worth actually living in." So thank you, Almost Women's Council, for daily engaging to create a world worth living in, a world where we always ask, what more can we do? Thank you.